Beyond the familiar landscapes that define our world, there exists an island where nature appears to have followed a completely different set of rules. A place where ancient trees look like they belong to another planet, where mountains rise from the ocean like forgotten monuments, and where countless species have survived for millions of years in complete isolation. This is Socotra, an island so strange and so unique that many travelers describe their first arrival as stepping into a world from a science fiction movie. The landscape does not resemble the deserts of Arabia, the forests of Africa, or the islands of the Indian Ocean. Instead, Socotra feels like a living museum of evolution, a place where time itself seems to have slowed down, separated from the mainland for millions of years. This remote island has developed its own mysterious identity. Plants have evolved unusual shapes to survive extreme conditions. Animals have followed their own evolutionary paths. People have built a way of life perfectly connected to this isolated environment. But what hidden forces created this extraordinary island? How did a small piece of land in the middle of the ocean become one of the most biologically unique places on Earth? And why do scientists believe that Socotra holds secrets that cannot be found anywhere else? Located in the Arabian Sea, near the entrance of the Gulf of Aden, Socotra belongs politically to Yemen, but sits geographically closer to the Horn of Africa. For thousands of years, this position placed the island between major civilizations, ancient trade routes, and powerful ocean currents. Yet despite its location, Socotra remains separated from much of the world. The island lies approximately 350 kilometers from mainland Yemen and around 240 kilometers from the coast of Somalia. This isolation created something extraordinary. While many places on Earth were constantly transformed by migration, trade, and human expansion, Socotra continued developing quietly, according to its own rhythm. Surrounded by smaller rocky formations scattered across the Arabian Sea, the largest island, Socotra itself, stretches across more than 3,600 square kilometers, a landscape containing mountains, valleys, caves, deserts, forests, and beaches within a surprisingly small area. More than 60,000 people call this remote island home. Generations of families have survived here by understanding something that modern societies often forget. Nature cannot be controlled, it must be respected. For centuries, the people of Socotra learned to read the signs of their environment. They followed seasonal winds across the sea. They recognized changes in clouds before rainfall arrived. They knew which plants could survive the harsh climate and which areas could provide water during difficult years. But before understanding the people who live here, we must first understand the island itself. Because Socotra is not simply a beautiful destination, it is the result of millions of years of geological history. Deep beneath the surface, the story of Socotra began when the continents of Earth looked completely different, hundreds of millions of years ago. This land was connected to the ancient supercontinent known as Gondwana, a massive landmass that once united Africa, South America, Antarctica, Australia, India, and the Arabian Peninsula. But the Earth is never still. Slow movements beneath the surface caused enormous tectonic plates to shift. Over millions of years, Arabia slowly separated from Africa. The Red Sea began forming. The Gulf of Aden opened, and Socotra became isolated in the middle of the ocean. This separation changed everything. A species arriving on Socotra was no longer connected to a larger ecosystem. It had no easy path back, no continuous exchange with neighboring continents, no guarantee that outside competitors would arrive. Over countless generations, life on the island began taking a different direction. Small differences became larger, adaptations became permanent, and eventually many species became found nowhere else on Earth. Today, scientists consider Socotra one of the most important examples of island evolution on the planet, a natural laboratory where millions of years of isolation have created an extraordinary collection of life forms. The first thing many visitors notice when exploring Socotra is the landscape. It does not simply look beautiful, it looks impossible. The island rises dramatically from the ocean, with enormous limestone mountains cutting across the horizon. The Hajir Mountains dominate the northern part of Socotra, reaching heights of more than 1,500 meters above sea level. Their rocky peaks create deep valleys, hidden caves, and landscapes that appear untouched by time. Massive cliffs stretch toward the sky. Ancient rock formations reveal millions of years of geological history, and beneath the mountains, enormous cave systems remain hidden in darkness. Inside these caves, nature has slowly created incredible underground worlds. Water dripping over thousands of years has formed giant stalactites and stalagmites, each formation recording a small piece of the island's ancient climate history. Moving away from the mountains, the scenery transforms again. Golden sand dunes stretch across coastal areas. White beaches meet turquoise waters, and remote lagoons create peaceful landscapes that seem almost unreal. One of the most remarkable places on the island is the Detwa Lagoon near Kalanzia, a place where visitors can stand between the ocean and mountains and feel completely separated from the modern world. But Socotra's greatest mystery is not only its landscape, it is the life that exists here. Because hidden among these mountains and valleys is one of the most unusual ecosystems on Earth. In most isolated environments, survival becomes difficult. Limited resources, harsh weather, and separation from other regions often reduce biodiversity. But Socotra became an exception. Instead of losing life, isolation created something rare. It allowed evolution to experiment. For millions of years, plants and animals adapted to the island's dry climate, strong winds, and unpredictable rainfall. The result is a world where nature created forms unlike anywhere else. A place where trees store water inside swollen trunks, where plants grow strange shapes to protect themselves from the sun, and where ancient species continue surviving exactly where their ancestors evolved. Among all of Socotra's natural wonders, one tree has become the symbol of the entire island, the legendary dragon blood tree. Standing beneath these unusual trees feels almost unreal. Their thick branches spread outward like enormous umbrellas. Their shape resembles something designed by an artist rather than created by nature. But this strange appearance is not simply decoration. It is a perfect survival strategy. The wide canopy creates shade beneath the tree, reducing evaporation and protecting the soil from the intense sunlight. Rainwater falling on the branches is directed toward the roots, helping the tree survive in one of the harshest environments on Earth. And hidden inside this ancient tree is another mystery. When damaged, it produces a deep red resin known for centuries as dragon's blood, a substance once valued by ancient civilizations for medicine, dyes, and rituals. For generations, this rare resin connected Socotra with distant worlds. Merchants traveled across dangerous seas, carrying valuable goods from the island. Frankincense, myrrh, and dragon's blood became treasures traded across ancient civilizations. Yet despite its historical importance, Socotra remained protected by its isolation. And because of that, the island preserved a natural world that has disappeared almost everywhere else. But the dragon blood tree is only the beginning. Across Socotra, hundreds of other species tell the story of an island where evolution created its own masterpiece. The dragon blood tree may be the most famous symbol of Socotra, but it represents only a small part of the island's extraordinary natural heritage. Hidden across the valleys, mountains, and rocky plateaus are hundreds of other species that reveal how powerful isolation can be. On Socotra, evolution did not simply allow life to survive. It transformed life. It created organisms that adapted so perfectly to this unusual environment that many appear almost impossible. Scientists have recorded more than 800 plant species across the Socotra archipelago. Among them, hundreds exist nowhere else on Earth. These are species that developed in complete isolation, carrying millions of years of evolutionary history within their roots, leaves, and branches. For comparison, many large regions of the planet share similar plant species because they are connected by migration, climate, and geography. But Socotra is different. Here, the island itself became a barrier, a natural fortress protecting its unique life forms from outside competition. Every plant that arrived here faced the same challenge: adapt or disappear. There was little fresh water, the sunlight was intense, the soil was often dry and rocky. Strong winds from the Indian Ocean constantly shaped the landscape. Only the strongest species could survive. One remarkable example is the Socotran desert rose. At first glance, this plant looks like something created by imagination. Its massive, swollen trunk rises from the ground like a sculpture carved from stone. But inside this unusual shape is a brilliant survival system. The thick trunk stores water collected during rare periods of rainfall, allowing the plant to survive months of drought. While other vegetation struggles under the harsh climate, the desert rose patiently waits for the next opportunity to grow. Another extraordinary plant is the Socotran cucumber tree. Unlike ordinary cucumber plants that grow close to the ground, this species has evolved into a small tree with a thick protective structure. It is a perfect example of how the same family of plants can transform completely when separated from the rest of the world. Across the island, countless plants reveal similar stories. Some develop thick leaves to reduce water loss. Others grow slowly for decades, conserving every drop of moisture. Many have evolved chemical defenses to survive against animals that would otherwise consume them. Together, these species create one of the most unusual botanical landscapes on Earth. A landscape where every valley seems to contain a different chapter of evolution. But Socotra's uniqueness does not end with plants. The animals of this island have followed their own extraordinary path. Because Socotra remained isolated for millions of years, many creatures here developed into completely separate species. Scientists have discovered dozens of reptiles found nowhere else. Among lizards and geckos especially, the level of uniqueness is remarkable. A creature living on one side of the island may have ancestors connected to the same species found thousands of years ago. But after generations of separation, it slowly became something completely different. Even small animals that people rarely notice carry the history of this island. Land snails, insects, and other tiny creatures have evolved independently, creating a hidden world beneath the surface. Among land snails, Socotra has one of the highest levels of unique species found anywhere. Many exist only within a few valleys or mountain areas, meaning that a small change to their environment could affect populations that cannot be replaced anywhere else. Birds also tell the story of isolation. Although many birds can travel long distances, some species that reach Socotra remain separated from mainland populations for thousands of generations. Over time, they develop their own characteristics, their own behaviors, their own identity. The Socotra starling, the Socotra sparrow, the Socotra warbler, each one represents a unique branch of life's enormous tree. This is why scientists often compare Socotra with the famous Galapagos Islands. Not because the two places look the same, they do not, but because both locations demonstrate the incredible power of isolation. In both places, nature created experiments that could not happen anywhere else. Slow experiments lasting millions of years. And perhaps the greatest wonder of Socotra is that this ancient ecosystem still exists today, a living record of evolution continuing in the modern world. But an island is not only defined by its plants and animals, it is also shaped by the people who learn to survive within it. For thousands of years, humans on Socotra have lived according to the rhythm of nature. They did not arrive with the goal of conquering the island. Instead, they adapted themselves to it. The people of Socotra learned that survival depended on cooperation. Water sources had to be protected. Livestock had to be managed carefully. Fishing areas had to be respected, and knowledge had to be passed from one generation to the next. In this isolated world, every person carried important information. An elderly fisherman knew the movement of ocean currents. A shepherd understood the mountains and seasonal changes. A farmer knew which valleys could support crops. Much of this knowledge was never written in books. It survived through stories, conversations, and daily experience. The island's traditional language, Socotra, became one of the strongest symbols of this cultural identity, a rare language belonging to the modern South Arabian language family. For centuries, it existed mainly through spoken traditions, poetry, songs, stories about ancestors, knowledge of the sea, and explanations of the natural world. A person speaking Socotra is not only communicating words, they are carrying centuries of memory. Many elderly people on the island are considered living archives. They preserve stories from generations before them. They remember traditional methods of healing. They know ancient names for plants and locations. And they understand connections between humans and nature that modern societies often lose. Socotra's villages reflect this deep connection. Most communities are small. Many families live close together. Children grow up surrounded by relatives, neighbors, and elders who share responsibility for the community. In many places around the world, isolation can create loneliness. But on Socotra, isolation created dependence on one another. A family facing difficulty does not face it alone. Neighbors help. Elders provide guidance. Communities work together when resources become limited. Traditional tribal structures continue to influence social life. Important decisions are often discussed with respected community leaders who understand local customs and history. For generations, this system helped people survive an environment where cooperation was not simply a cultural value. It was a necessity. Hospitality is another important part of Socotran culture. For visitors arriving from distant lands, a simple invitation into a home can become one of the most memorable experiences. A cup of tea, a shared meal, a conversation beneath the shade. These small moments reveal something deeper about island life. In a harsh environment where nature provides only limited resources, generosity became one of the greatest resources people could offer. While Socotra preserved ancient traditions, the island was never completely disconnected from the outside world. For thousands of years, ships crossed these waters carrying merchants, explorers, and travelers. And those ancient connections would slowly shape the culture of this mysterious island. Although Socotra appears like a forgotten world separated from civilization, its position in the Indian Ocean has always made it part of a much larger story. Long before airplanes and modern ships connected continents, ancient sailors crossed these waters following the powerful seasonal winds of the Arabian Sea. Their journeys linked Arabia, Africa, India, and distant civilizations beyond. And in the middle of these ancient routes stood Socotra, a remote island offering fresh water, shelter, and valuable natural resources to travelers, crossing one of the most important maritime regions in human history. For thousands of years, ships stopped along its shores. Merchants searched for the island's famous treasures, frankincense, myrrh, and the mysterious red resin of the dragon blood tree. These rare products traveled across ancient kingdoms and were considered valuable enough to be exchanged by powerful rulers. The natural wealth of Socotra reached places far beyond the island itself. Ancient civilizations valued these resources for religious ceremonies, medicine, perfumes, and traditional practices. The island became connected to the world through the very things that made it unique. Yet, despite these connections, Socotra never became a major center of empire or urban civilization. Its mountains, difficult climate, and isolation protected much of its original identity. The outside world came and went, but the island remained itself. Over centuries, different cultures influenced Socotra. Sailors from distant lands arrived. Languages mixed, ideas traveled. But the island's geography acted like a protective barrier. Instead of replacing local traditions, these influences became woven into an identity that remained uniquely Socotran. Today, this identity can still be seen in the villages scattered across the island, places where ancient customs continue alongside modern changes. The largest settlement on Socotra is Hadibo. Unlike many cities around the world, Hadibo moves at a slower rhythm. There are no endless traffic jams, no towering skyscrapers, no constant noise. Life here begins with the rising sun. As morning light reaches the mountains, markets slowly come alive. Small shops open their doors, families prepare food, fishermen return from the sea carrying their early catches. The streets are simple, but they reveal a community deeply connected to daily survival. Fresh fish from the surrounding waters remains one of the most important parts of island life. The ocean surrounding Socotra is incredibly rich. Warm currents and diverse habitats create an environment supporting hundreds of marine species. For generations, fishing has provided food, income, and cultural identity. Before sunrise, small boats leave the coastline. Fishermen travel across familiar waters, searching for tuna, mackerel, snapper, lobster, and other marine life. Many still depend on knowledge passed down from previous generations. Understanding tides, reading the weather, recognizing changes in the ocean. In a world dominated by GPS technology and digital navigation, some fishermen continue using traditional knowledge developed over centuries. The sea is not simply a source of income, it is part of their history. Away from the coast, another traditional lifestyle continues among the island's mountains and valleys: livestock farming. Goats, sheep, and cattle move slowly across rocky landscapes, searching for vegetation after seasonal rains. The environment is demanding. Rainfall is unpredictable, grasslands can disappear quickly, water sources are limited. Yet local communities have learned how to survive within these conditions. They understand the limits of the land. They know when animals can graze. They know where water can be found. For many families, livestock represents far more than economic value. Animals provide milk, meat, materials, and security. They are part of family heritage. Agriculture is also shaped by the island's difficult environment. Large-scale farming is almost impossible in many areas. Instead, people cultivate small areas where water can be preserved. In hidden valleys and fertile locations, families grow dates, bananas, pomegranates, melons, and vegetables. Small gardens surrounded by a landscape that appears almost completely dry. These areas demonstrate one of the most important lessons of Socotra. Life does not always need abundance. Sometimes survival comes from understanding how to use what exists. Fresh water remains one of the island's most precious resources. Every spring, every well, every small stream has enormous importance. Communities have spent generations protecting these sources because they understand a simple truth: without water, nothing survives. This relationship between people and nature has shaped every aspect of Socotran life. Even traditional industries are connected to the environment. For centuries, people collected frankincense resin from trees growing across the island. Small cuts were made in the bark, allowing the tree to release valuable resin. After drying, the fragrant material became an important trade product. Unlike destructive harvesting methods, traditional collection depended on patience, taking only what the tree could provide, allowing nature to recover. This philosophy reflects something deeper about Socotran culture. The island has always taught its people that taking too much today can destroy tomorrow. But while ancient traditions remain strong, life on Socotra is changing. The modern world is slowly arriving. Roads are expanding. Mobile phones are becoming common. Internet access is connecting younger generations with places their ancestors never imagined. For many residents, these changes bring hope: better education, improved healthcare, new economic opportunities, but they also create difficult questions. How can Socotra develop without losing what makes it extraordinary? How can a place protected by isolation survive when isolation itself begins to disappear? These questions become more important as more travelers discover the island. For years, Socotra remained almost unknown outside scientific and geographic circles, but images of its strange forests, turquoise beaches, and alien landscapes began spreading around the world. People who had never heard of the island suddenly wanted to experience it, to walk beneath dragon blood trees, to explore ancient caves, to stand on beaches untouched by mass tourism. Tourism brought new possibilities. Local guides found work, families opened small guest houses, traditional crafts gained new markets. For communities with limited economic options, visitors created opportunities that had never existed before. But Socotra's greatest strength is also its greatest vulnerability. The island's environment evolved slowly. Millions of years created this fragile balance. But human changes can happen in only a few decades. Every new road, every vehicle crossing sensitive areas, every increase in visitors creates pressure on an ecosystem that cannot easily recover. The same isolation that protected Socotra for millions of years now creates challenges in protecting it for the future. Because unlike many famous destinations, Socotra does not have endless resources. Its beauty exists because of its limits. And understanding those limits may determine whether future generations experience the same extraordinary world that exists today. The deeper one travels across Socotra, the clearer one thing becomes. This island is not extraordinary because it is untouched by humanity. It is extraordinary because humans learned how to exist within its limits. For thousands of years, life here has been a delicate conversation between people and nature. The mountains provide shelter, the sea provides food, the valleys provide small areas for farming, and the people provide the knowledge needed to survive. But today, this ancient relationship is entering a new chapter, a chapter filled with opportunities, uncertainty, and challenges that could shape the future of the island forever. One of the greatest challenges facing Socotra is its extreme isolation. The same distance that protected the island's natural world also makes everyday life difficult. Many essential supplies must travel across the sea from the mainland. Food products, medical equipment, construction materials. Almost everything depends on transportation routes that can be interrupted by weather or political situations. During the powerful monsoon season, the ocean surrounding Socotra can become dangerous. Strong winds and enormous waves can prevent ships and aircraft from reaching the island. For months, communities may experience limited connection with the outside world. For many people living in modern cities, temporary isolation may feel like an inconvenience. But on Socotra, isolation can affect essential parts of life. Delayed shipment can mean higher prices. A closed route can limit medical options. A damaged road can separate villages from important services. This is the reality of living on one of the most remote inhabited islands on Earth. Healthcare remains another challenge. Socotra has medical facilities, but advanced treatment is limited. For serious illnesses or emergencies, patients may need transportation to the mainland. A journey that sounds simple on a map can become extremely complicated when weather conditions, distance, and transportation difficulties are involved. Education has also changed significantly in recent years. In larger communities, children have easier access to schools, but in remote villages, geography remains a powerful obstacle. Some students travel long distances across rough terrain every day, walking through rocky paths, crossing dry valleys, traveling beneath a harsh sun. For these children, education requires determination. Yet, despite these difficulties, many young Socotrans dream of a future where they can improve their communities while preserving their heritage. Some leave the island to study. They discover new skills and new perspectives. But many eventually return, bringing knowledge back to their homeland. They want better infrastructure, better healthcare, more opportunities, but they also want to protect the identity that makes Socotra different from anywhere else. because development without preservation could destroy the very thing that makes the island valuable. Perhaps nowhere is this balance more visible than in the relationship between tourism and conservation. Every year, more travelers arrive hoping to witness Socotra's impossible landscapes. They come searching for the dragon blood tree forests, the crystal waters of remote beaches, the dramatic mountains rising above the clouds. For visitors, Socotra represents adventure, a chance to experience a place that feels disconnected from the modern world. For local communities, tourism represents opportunity. A guide can earn income by sharing knowledge of the island. A family can support itself by welcoming visitors. A traditional craft can find new value. Tourism can provide a reason for younger generations to remain connected to their homeland. But tourism also creates responsibility, because Socotra is not a normal destination. It is a fragile ecosystem shaped by millions of years of isolation. A large increase in visitors could create problems that did not exist before. More vehicles can damage sensitive landscapes. More construction can disturb habitats. More waste can threaten areas that once remained almost completely natural. The challenge is not stopping people from discovering Socotra. The challenge is ensuring that discovery does not destroy what people came to see. Among the island's most important conservation concerns is the future of the dragon blood trees. These ancient trees can survive for centuries, but their ability to reproduce is becoming increasingly difficult. Young seedlings face many dangers. Goats may consume new growth before it becomes strong enough to survive. Longer dry periods can make regeneration slower. Changing weather patterns can create additional pressure. An old dragon blood tree can stand for hundreds of years, but replacing it requires a new generation, and nature cannot be rushed. If conditions continue changing, the forests that define Socotra's identity could slowly decline. This is why protecting the island is not only about saving beautiful scenery. Every dragon blood tree, every rare reptile, every endemic plant represents millions of years of evolution. Once lost, these species cannot simply be recreated somewhere else. They are the result of a journey that began when continents separated and oceans formed. A journey that continued through countless generations until the world we see today emerged. Climate change adds another layer of uncertainty. Socotra has always experienced difficult conditions, but the speed of modern environmental changes is different from anything in recent history. Rainfall patterns are becoming less predictable. Temperatures are increasing. Extreme weather events are becoming more noticeable. In 2015, powerful cyclones struck the island, bringing destructive winds and flooding. Years later, additional storms reminded residents that even a place shaped by nature for millions of years remains vulnerable to a rapidly changing climate. For communities that depend directly on the environment, these changes are not abstract scientific concepts. They affect daily life. A fisherman notices changing sea conditions. A farmer notices changing rainfall. A shepherd notices changes in vegetation. The people of Socotra understand climate change not through reports or statistics, but through experience. Yet, despite all these challenges, the spirit of Socotra remains strong, because this island has always been a place of adaptation. The first plants that arrived here adapted. The first animals that survived here adapted. The first humans who settled here adapted. Adaptation is the story of Socotra. And perhaps this is the greatest lesson the island offers the world. Survival does not always belong to the strongest. Sometimes it belongs to those who understand how to change while protecting what matters most. Deep inside Socotra's valleys and along its remote coastlines, there are still moments that feel almost unchanged by time. A fisherman preparing his boat before sunrise. A shepherd guiding animals through mountain paths. A family sharing tea beneath a simple stone shelter. These scenes reveal something that statistics and scientific studies cannot fully explain. Socotra is not only a place of rare species and unusual landscapes, it is a living story. A story written by mountains, oceans, plants, animals, and people. a story that has continued for thousands of years. But to truly understand the soul of Socotra, we must look closer at the people who continue carrying this ancient connection into the modern age. As the sun begins to disappear behind the mountains of Socotra, the island slowly returns to silence. The strong winds that shaped the cliffs for millions of years continue moving across the valleys. The ocean waves continue touching the ancient coastline. Beneath the fading light, the dragon blood trees stand like forgotten guardians, watching over a world unlike any other. For many places on Earth, progress has been measured by how quickly nature can be transformed. Forests become cities, rivers become roads, remote landscapes become destinations. But Socotra tells a different story. Here, the greatest achievement has never been changing the island. It has been learning how to belong to it. The people of Socotra understand something that many modern societies are beginning to rediscover. Human life is not separate from nature. It exists because of nature. Every generation that has lived on this island has inherited the same responsibility to use what the land provides, to respect what cannot be replaced, and to protect the balance that allowed life to survive here for thousands of years. For an elderly fisherman standing beside the sea, the ocean is not simply water. It is a memory, a connection to fathers and grandfathers who followed the same currents long before modern technology arrived. For a shepherd walking through the mountains, the landscape is not empty wilderness. Every valley has a name. Every path has a story. Every spring has a history. For families gathering together in the evening, a simple cup of tea represents more than hospitality. It represents belonging. In Socotra, traditions are not preserved inside museums. They remain alive in ordinary moments, in conversations, in songs, in daily routines passed from parents to children. But the younger generation now stands between two worlds. One world is the Socotra of their ancestors, a place of traditional knowledge, close communities, and deep connection with the environment. The other world is the modern planet beyond the ocean, a world of technology, education, new opportunities, and rapid change. Many young Socotrans do not want to choose only one. They want both. They want modern healthcare without losing ancient knowledge. They want better roads without destroying natural landscapes. They want economic growth without sacrificing their cultural identity. And this may be the greatest challenge facing Socotra, not simply protecting the past, but creating a future where the past still has a place. Because an island frozen completely in time cannot survive. But an island that forgets its history can lose the very thing that makes it special. The future of Socotra will depend on finding this balance. A balance between conservation and development, between tourism and protection, between modern life and ancient wisdom around the world. Countless natural wonders have disappeared because humanity discovered them too late to protect them. But Socotra still has a chance. Its mountains still rise above the clouds. Its rare forests still cover ancient valleys. Its beaches still shine beneath the Indian Ocean sun. The question is whether future generations will inherit the same island, or only photographs of what once existed. Today, scientists, conservationists, and local communities continue working to understand and protect Socotra's unique environment. Because saving this island is not only about saving one remote place. It is about preserving a reminder of what Earth was capable of creating when nature was given enough time. Every species found only on Socotra represents a story millions of years in the making. Every unusual tree represents countless generations of adaptation. Every tradition represents human resilience in one of the planet's most demanding environments. Together, these stories create something far greater than a destination. They create a living archive of Earth itself. A place where the past is still visible, where evolution can still be observed, where nature continues writing chapters that began long before humans arrived. Socotra is not the last untouched paradise on Earth. It has problems, it has challenges, it has uncertainty, But perhaps that is what makes it even more remarkable, because its beauty does not come from perfection. Its beauty comes from survival. An island separated from continents, a world shaped by oceans, a landscape created by millions of years of patience. A place where strange trees rise from dry mountains, where rare creatures continue hidden journeys of evolution, where people maintain traditions formed by wind, water, and time. This is Socotra, the island that feels like another planet, the forgotten world of the Indian Ocean, the place where Earth reveals one of its most extraordinary secrets. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Socotra, one of the most mysterious and fascinating places on our planet. If you enjoyed exploring the hidden wonders of Earth, discover more incredible destinations, ancient landscapes, and impossible places around the world with us. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss our next adventure. Until the next journey, keep exploring the wonders that still remain hidden on our planet.